Every year we are surprised by the impact that Harvest for the Hungry has, not just in Eastern Europe, but also here in the county of Essex. I'd like to introduce to you now Mr. Malcolm Tilsed, who is the manager at the Meadows Shopping Centre. We're very grateful for the Meadows support. And Malcolm's been out to Bulgaria. He's probably one of our key workers. I think he's been out to Bulgaria more times than I have, I think. And Malcolm is going to share some of his personal insights as what he's seen in Bulgaria. Thank you.
Good morning. Just grab my prop. Okay, I've got a little story for you because what Roger forgot to tell you is it's story time. And the story is about a bag of sugar. And you have to bear with me because this story takes me back to my childhood when I was just 6 years old back in 1961. And I remember that it was assembly time and there was a lovely young teacher. And I always remember this young teacher because there was a bus strike and this young teacher took us, she walked us home and bought us ice creams because of the bus strike because we lived so far away. Anyway, back to the assembly. And at the assembly, she was talking about the old people, how we needed to bring food in to help the old people who didn't have any money. And I was really quite excited by this. It sounds silly, I was only just 6 years old because for the first time in my life I got a letter from the school telling me about Harvest, telling me about this project. And I went home and I ran into the house and I rushed up to my mum and said, Mum, I've got a letter from the school and can I send, or can I take something to the school? And Mum was quite tall and I looked at my mum and she looked at me and she turned and she went to the kitchen and she came back out with this small bag of sugar. Oh, Mum, I'm going to be the envy of the school with this bag of sugar. Remember, it's 1961. Whatever a 6-year-old would say, because I'm not sure I could say envy in those days. Anyway, Mum also said to me, you do realise that if you take that bag of sugar to school, then you won't have any sugar on your cereal for the next 4 weeks. She also said that Dad would probably be very grumpy because there'd be no sugar in his tea. And I looked at her with puzzle and amazement thinking, well, there's a shop down the road, there's a van that goes round collecting sugar, why don't you just go and buy some? And I looked at the patches on my trousers and I looked at my mum and she explained that we didn't have much money and we couldn't afford to go out and buy another bag of sugar. Now I ran upstairs, I went to the toilet about 10 times, I tossed and I turned and I ran upstairs. I said, I'm just 6 years old, I shouldn't be making big decisions like this at 6 years old. Do I take this bag of sugar to the Harvest, to the assembly? Well, to cut a very, very long story short, after tossing and turning another 10 times, going to the toilet another 10 times, I came down and I said to my mum, I'm going to take this bag of sugar. My dad was grumpy for the month, and I walked in to the assembly. It was a big hall, and there on the assembly was piles of food. And I placed my bag of sugar on the top. I felt very good, I felt very proud, and I felt, I've done something. Now I don't know what happened to that bag of sugar, I don't know which old lady or which old man had that bag of sugar, and I don't know whether that bag of sugar saved a life. But what I do know is that the bag of sugar, similar to this bag of sugar, saved a life just 12 months ago. And it saved the life of this lady called Millie. Now Millie is just 50 years old. In 1961, she would have been 6 when I was 6. Now Millie looks a lot older because Millie's got a lot of stresses, a lot of strains, and a lot of worries in her life. And Millie has to make some tough decisions. Now Millie's tough decisions are that she only has enough money to buy 2 of the 3 things that she urgently needs. Does she have enough money to buy food, to feed herself for the month? Does she have enough money to heat the one room in her house? She lives in Bulgaria in a block of flats. It's freezing cold in Bulgaria in the winter. Or does she buy the medicines for her sick mother? And medicines are very, very expensive. Now Millie was tossing and turning again. She had to make these tough tough decisions. And one day, Millie decided to take the ultimate act. She committed herself, she said to herself, I can't take any more, I can't make my money go any further, I'm going to commit suicide. Now it was 6:30 in the evening, the low point of the day. It was the low point in Millie's life, and she sat down at the table waiting to make this decision, deciding. And then all like a miracle, there was a knock on the door. And in walked a man, and the man was carrying a box. He was carrying a family box of food. Now the box was placed in front of Millie on the table, and she opened the box, and inside the box there was chocolate biscuits, there was pasta, rice, other food, and a bag of sugar. The stress and the strain just lifted from Millie. The burden of responsibility that was weighting her down just lifted. And she found herself deciding that she can now buy medicines for a sick mother. She can now heat the one room in her house because she's got enough food to last her for a month. And Millie is alive today, and she is well. Now today we're talking to businesses. What do we want business to do? Do we want you to give us thousands of pounds? No. Do we want you to give thousands of boxes of food? No. What we want you to do is to speak to your staff, put boxes and leaflets in your restaurants and your canteens, and tell them about Millie and how you can save a life. Now to save a life is very important because it makes you feel good, makes you really, really feel good. As I say, Millie is fine, Millie is well, and Millie is active today. And we hope that you're going to help us save people like Millie. She does look a lot older, doesn't she? Yeah? Any tears in the house? Now Millie is a lovely, lovely lady. And the food that you can see in front costs just a few pounds. Just a few pounds. And just think for a moment, if that was the box destined for Millie that didn't get there, if that was the box that somebody didn't pick up, if that was the box that somebody forgot to take or couldn't be bothered to take it to the meadows to be picked up, then Millie would not be alive today. So if that was your box, thank you. Or if it was your box, thank you. Or if it was your box, thank you. And on behalf of Millies everywhere, I'd like to say thank you for sending the box last year. On behalf of Millies everywhere, I'd like to say thank you for caring. On behalf of Millies everywhere, I'd like to say thank you for your contribution for this year. And on behalf of Millies everywhere, I'd like to say thank you for the sugar. Thank you.